Yes, of course we are airing this. Let's go ahead and play the stat of the day. Genesis has arrived. She is here to mash some people. Jessica cannot wait. She has missed the last couple, I think.
I can't wait to get mashed.
The best.
It's a real ragdoll situation. We've got a masseuse around here that it's painful as well, though, right? Because you guys, Whittingham experiences this a little bit differently than the rest of you.
No, I was critiqued for some of the sounds that I've made, but it is the greatest. It's the greatest and the worst because my body's wound up tight, and I learn this once every 4 weeks. But it is like genuine physical relief. Like, I don't realize the amount of stress that I carry in my bones every day. And I find out once every 4 weeks when Genesis comes around. It's the greatest.
And then the next day, like, you just are in pain for at least
I feel blessed relief.
Ooh, I'm the opposite. I like in the moment it hurts. It hurts a lot when she's doing it. But then for the next week, I feel looser and freer than I've felt in a long time.
She also finds things that I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even know this was a problem.
Yep.
Like last week she was like, or whenever the last time she was here, she was fixing something in my elbow. And she's like, you play softball? And I was like, no. She's like, something's like not right here. And I'm like, how did she even know? Like I have apparently the elbow of a professional softball player.
Atta girl.
She fixed it.
Let's do stat of the day, short version, please.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day.
Stat of the day is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Stugotz, who is your MVP in basketball? You have been on a one...
Ja Morant.
Oh, you've changed your mind.
Yep, that's my MVP. Ja Morant is the MVP of the NBA.
When did you change your mind on DeMar DeRozan?
When you asked me just now.
Nice.
I did tell you 2 weeks ago, DeRozan, I peppered you and Stan Van Gundy with texts with box scores from DeMar DeRozan. That team is so bad against the elite teams, it cannot beat DeMar DeRozan.
Okay, I didn't realize. I thought when you shifted your MVP conversation, there was an announcement of some sort. We've had a different one every month. Now Devin Booker wants in the conversation. I mean, Devin Booker wants where Jokic and Embiid are.
I will tell you that Jason Tatum is creeping into the conversation. I will tell you that.
Okay, but can you please keep us better updated? Because you've been telling us for a while that it was DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, no one's paying attention to DeMar DeRozan. You badgered me and Stan about it, and then you fled, and now you're hiding behind Jason Tatum.
You guys know me and Zach Harper came up with the idea that the MVP conversation is a bar. And, like, there's a bouncer outside, and, like, do you get in the bar or not? And I'm going to tell you, Stugotz, Jason Tatum walked up, and he had to wait in line for a little bit. But then they're like, you know what? You're on the list.
Right.
He's in the bar over there. Devin Booker's in the bar, but for some reason, no one's noticing. Because the MVP conversation is an actual conversation at the bar. All the MVPs are around in a circle, and the guy who's leading the conversation, that's the guy who's leading the MVP, leaderboard, right? So
conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
He's leading the meeting of MVPs.
He's in the middle. He's got
potential MVPs.
He's like the bartender at this bar?
No.
The leader.
So they're in a circle. You know how like you go to a bar, you meet up with your friends. You're not sitting down. You're standing right at the edge of the bar, right?
It's not a booth. We're at the bar.
We're at the
circular bar.
We're at the bar, and the guys are all standing around that corner of the bar. And then there's one in the middle who's telling a story. And that's the guy who's leading the. So right,
that's a good beer commercial.
So it's Nikola Jokic right now, and he's like, guys, let me tell you this story. I went outside and Pete. Remember, I saw you over in Philly, and then everyone said that this was the end all be all game, and then I bust his ass. Like that's what's happening now. The further you are,
because he's the reigning MVP, or because he's the favorite for the MVP.
He's the favorite for the MVP. So at one point in the season, Stugotz, you're right. DeMar DeRozan said, guys, I got a story to tell, and he stepped in the middle. And he started talking. And everyone's like, oh wow, DeMar's really telling this story.
8 games. It was 8 games where he went scored
2 words at a time.
35 points, 2 syllables at a time, 35 points where he did something that only Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain had done. And for those 8 seconds, he led the MVP conversation at that bar.
So Devin Booker is at the bar right now, and he's actually the richest guy. He's like, we count rich and wins, right? So like the more wins you have, that's the richest guy at the bar. He's the richest guy at the bar. He's trying to get a word in edgewise, but he can't. because people just aren't paying attention to it. Like, guys, I bought everybody shots, guys, and everyone's like, no, look, this guy Jokic is telling a hell of a story right now. Devin Booker absolutely should be in the center of the conversation. He should be doing barbs and banter with Jokic and Embiid and Ja Morant. Here's the funny thing. Ja Morant just slid right past Devin Booker, like, excuse me,
That's right.
and got himself in the middle of the conversation.
Where's Giannis in this bar?
Oh, Giannis is leaning back against he's the one that has the bar behind him, right? And he's sipping his drink slowly with a kind of a Mad Dog type smile on his face, like, guys, go ahead, do your little talking.
LeBron's the old guy in the corner who's hunched over his drink. I remember when people used to care about me.
Is Giannis going out of his way with every sip to make sure everyone sees his championship ring?
Yeah,
okay,
he's definitely
Wait a minute. Is LeBron in the corner? Is he in the bar?
LeBron's in the bar.
Yeah, he's in the bar.
LeBron's in the bar, but
He's averaging 30 a game.
like Chris said, he's not with the conversation. He's at the end of the bar.
The outer layer, yeah.
Just, and
Last
just
remnants of a
depressed.
cigarette.
My stat of the day is, and I don't know
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
if DeRozan is still in the bar. It's from Casey Johnson. The Bulls fell last night to 0-16 against the top 3 seeds in both conferences.
Yeah. Why I took him out.
DeMar DeRozan.
But he's out of the bar.
Yeah.
You kicked him. Have security thrown him out of the bar?
I've thrown him out of the bar. I'm not certain if Amin has or security has.
Security is coming over and is kind of like staggering a little. That's what's happened. He had a little too much. And you're trying to like convince, I'm fine. I promise I'm fine. But like now the bouncer has an eye on him. He's not out of the bar yet, Stugotz, but he's real close. He's real close to them. All right,
Is there
get him out of
anyone
here.
closer to getting out of the bar than DeRozan? Like somebody who's in the bar who's closer than DeRozan to being evicted from the bar? Because Giannis and LeBron, you're telling me get to stay.
Yeah.
They get to hang around.
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
Curry left the bar.
He left the
Steph
bar.
Curry left
He
the
went
bar.
home early.
He left the bar, yeah.
Left the bar. Left the bar. Just,
Family man.
Yeah.
Hobbled out.
He hobbled out, yeah. Man, he left the bar before he got hurt. He got hurt on the way home. Yeah.
Let's check in with Billy in the kitchen. Billy is in the kitchen reporting live on First Take. Please get us caught up to date on all the things you've been absorbing.
Hey Dan, it's Billy. A lot has gone on, and I'm kind of disappointed that we're doing this right now because things are starting to get a little spicy. Since I've been out here, Mad Dog has referenced the 85 Bears defense when talking about Derek Carr's drive versus Cincinnati. He says Carr's not going to the Hall of Fame. They're basically talking about whether or not Devontae Adams made a good decision going to the Raiders. So a lot has happened. Stephen A. said, "Are you going to let me answer?" He yelled. He referred to Jimmy Garoppolo as porn star Jimmy. Mad Dog said Aaron has bad body language sometimes when he goes out on the field, and now that he doesn't have Devontae Adams, he needs to work on that a little bit. Then Stephen A. said that Aaron Rodgers' legacy is on the line this year.
What?
Yeah, his legacy is on the line, and he's sick and tired of Matt LaFleur being this great character person and getting all this credit for stuff. Back to you.
Holy shit.
Amazing.
There was an announcement, a news break.
Legacy.
Thank you, Billy.
I gotta go.
I understand.
85 Bears.
Billy, why are you watching First Take while on the couch? Like you're stood on the couch, like trying to hear it better.
It's a good question. I am on the couch because I'm trying to get right next to it because there's a lot going on in this kitchen area. One, there's a speaker with the show going on, which is kind of loud, but I need to kind of listen to see what's going on so that I can check in when necessary. But I also need to listen to First Take, and there's also a really important meeting going on over there with Hildy, and I'm trying not to have it be too loud to disrupt her, but I can tell that it's bothering her.
Okay, very good.
Thank you,
We will
Bill.
check in with you shortly
Gotta go.
and bother Hildy again. They're trying to plan the next Moss event over there because people have been clamoring for that. Something they haven't been clamoring for, Amin. I was flipping through. This is a nightly pastime of mine. I imagine for a lot of people in the age of streaming, it's just sort of roaming through Apple and Netflix and iTunes looking for something bingeable,
Really?
something that you can find that you might want to follow. That's not how you're
No.
consuming your.
I'm targeted. I go into the app. I know exactly what I want to watch. I'm going into Hulu. I'm going to
Word
watch.
of mouth. You're going word of mouth to follow something that someone told you you
Yeah.
would like.
Yep, I would say 80 to 90% of what I watch on these apps is something that I already came to go find either because I saw something or heard someone talk about it.
I love a good scroll on these apps, and it's a guessing game, and hopefully you land on a good show that you end up liking. That's the way I like
one
to
of
do
the
it.
things I landed on the other day, and I really was just interested in this, had no idea idea where it appeared from, but I'm just scanning through. This is how I find most Bruce Willis movies these days. They go.
I find them on TNT.
Bruce, well, those are
Not those movies.
those are his older ones.
Not the movies he's talking
Bruce
about.
Willis is working a lot these days.
Yes.
He's working with actors you don't know, and he is still doing Impossible White Man movies at his age. And the reason I bring up the Impossible White Man is because I saw a movie the other day, or a trailer for it, Panama, and it was a grizzled Mel Gibson, still starring as an action hero. And I want to know, I demand an answer as the man who runs Cinephobe here, why it is that all of our action stars, that Rock has to be the youngest one at 50, and that Liam Neeson is still out here making 8% movies, and we keep going to these impossible, it's not just impossible white men, it's impossible 70-year-old white men. At least Bob Odenkirk did it as a comedy in Nobody. These other guys are doing it seriously. Mel Gibson, how never mind Mel Gibson's past. I just don't understand why anybody in Hollywood is working with him, but you're going to let him at 70 still be the Lethal Weapon guy?
Because they're all budgeting off of what they were, right? They're all, trading in the value that they created in the 80s and 90s and focusing, because these are all direct-to-video movies, by the way. I want to read some of the titles of some of the recent Bruce Willis movies, and I want to see Stugotz, is this a thumbs up or thumbs down?
Wait, so they captured a lot of fans of the 80s and 90s with dumb movies, and they're hoping that carries over, that some of those fans carry over to new movies?
Because in this age of streaming where I don't have to get up and go to a movie theater, a lot of these things are direct-to-video. They're like, yeah, I'll give it a try. So Stugotz,
but before you go any further, Whittingham was making a sour face. Were you looking up Bruce Willis titles on the internet?
Yeah, I'm looking at his Rotten Tomatoes page right now. He has not made a movie above 20% in his last 11 tries.
Oh, it's been amazing.
He made Die Hard. Who cares?
He has been for the last, he's just cashing checks in a way, still being steamy old bald guy.
But once you win a championship, and he won a championship, he won a couple of championships, it doesn't matter what you do with the remainder of your career. That's it. I mean.
So Stugotz, here we go. These are from, I'm going to go from 2021
Mel Gibson,
moving back.
you're saying, who are the multiple champions here? So Stallone, who are your multiple?
Stallone,
Schwarzenegger.
Oh, I thought you were describing the movies as championships. Like Bruce Willis has won a couple championships.
Die Hard was
Die Hard.
one. Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, obviously.
Yeah, that's a ring for him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of Mel Gibson's second Braveheart. Yep.
Braveheart,
Yeah.
man.
Is Armageddon a championship for Bruce Willis?
No.
Cinephobe eligible.
No.
Sorry.
Sixth Sense?
No.
Sixth Sense is a chip. Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
last, but that's the last championship he's won, right? That's Bruce Willis has gone 20 years without winning
The
a
last.
championship, right? He doesn't have something this century, does he? That somebody out there would consider a good movie.
How do you feel about Sin City? I mean,
Sin City was a good movie. Sin City's a chip.
All right, let's read some
Really?
of these.
I'd say it's a conference finals appearance.
When was Sin City?
You're giving away chips,
You
man.
really are giving away.
I mean,
Sin
are
City
we
was-
including him as a lead here, or because that's an ensemble movie, right?
That's
there,
true.
Sin City.
That's true.
Yeah, you got to be the star. You can't. You got to carry the movie
that
as
case,
an action star.
Pulp Fiction is out then.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
He was a
out.
role player on Pulp Fiction.
Okay, but Sixth
he wrote
Sense.
The Bench.
Die Hard, Sixth Sense.
But Sixth Sense is
Right.
not
Sixth
an
Sense-
action movie.
No. Well, I mean, the chips are great movies. It doesn't matter whether it's action or not, because that's the highest. That's what everyone wants, right? Is they want to be in movies that are remembered and great. So that Sixth Sense, absolutely, they got a banner up for that one. Stugotz,
Yeah.
how about some of these late ones that he's made? Fortress, yes or no?
I'm going to go,
I want gut reaction.
Yes.
Bruce Willis in Fortress, right?
yes.
Deadlock,
Yes.
Apex,
Yes.
Survive the Game,
Yes.
Midnight in the Switchgrass.
No.
That's a no, yeah. Out of Death.
Yes.
Out of Death is an incredible name for a Stugotz movie. 0% on the tomato meter. What a waste of that title.
Find me some of the comments. Find me some of the comments on a 0% Out of Death.
You're
Jessica,
assuming it's 0%.
Jessica, why are you holding
I
your
love
face?
the show's commitment to say like, we're gonna get younger, and then we talk about Bruce Willis movies from the 80s and 90s.
No, they're modern
What do you
movies.
want?
They're
They're modern
2021.
Movies, what do you want?
Yeah.
It's the last 10 years of
That's even
Willis's
worse.
career.
God damn. damn Gen Zs. Like, what do you guys want?
You have checked out on.
No, I was making a TikTok about Mad Dog and Stephen A. And then I checked back into the show, and we're still talking about Bruce Willis. So I'm checking back out.
Okay. Any particular reason you're not working for this show as opposed to doing
This is for this show.
TikToks?
You guys wanted me to start doing TikToks for the show. I made one with Stugotz the other day with the Reading Rainbow theme song. That's a trend on TikTok right now. People
Is it really? I'm trending on TikTok?
You're not trending. The sound is trending.
Oh, it's too bad.
But
so
it was a
excited.
big hit. I mean, it got like 50,000 views on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
You should have just went with it and let him believe that he's trending on TikTok.
Royalties.
Please do that. Let's do that as a prank at some point. Royalties is the first place that he goes. He's already fishing around in your pockets.
TikTok royalties, you guys?
Before he's become the TikTok star. I do think we should trick him at some point and just tell him that he has gone viral. He is a K-pop band on TikTok.
I do feel like Stugotz has enough moments that I love Dan just mashing up things that are popular on the internet, K-pop and TikTok. I think Stugotz has enough like one-liners that we could probably make a Stugotz one-liner like sound go viral on TikTok. If we
On my
throw
TikTok,
enough,
though.
if we throw enough shit at the wall, something's gonna stick. Yeah, Stugotz, when you make your TikTok,
I have a TikTok.
all right, send it to me. Maybe I'll see if we can
Really?
work something out.
Look at you.
Do we have a synopsis for Out of Death, by the way?
No, but I do have a review.
Oh, please.
This is from John Serba of Decider. This is a sub-generic, almost action movie with a screenplay so threadbare, daylight screams through it like a rabid banshee.
What a positive review.
Here's the synopsis. A retired forest ranger tries to help a woman after she witnesses a crime and finds herself running from a rural mountain town's corrupt police department.
Oh, I love it. I mean, whenever you have a retired something, it's always a good thing for a movie.
I love Whittingham that we just glossed right over who that critic writes for.
Oh.
Decider?
I love that as the name of a place where a critic works. You know who I am? I am the Decider.
I wish that was my name.
I mean, Stugotz wants to put
The
it on
Decider.
his business cards.
Stugotz wants to start the sports division of Decider.
How many rings does KD have? The Decider says?
0.
That is the next evolution of First Take. Just him, fists on his hips, coming out in a bath towel or a robe. Who's the Decider with a heater in his mouth? Barefoot, dirty feet.
That's good content for the TikTok.
There
Save
it is.
My TikTok.
Yeah.
Yes,
You pay me, yeah.
All right, Jessica, you have now been in charge. I don't know if you noticed what just happened there, but Stugotz has now put you in charge of making him super famous and wealthy on TikTok.
As long as he's willing to pay my hourly rate, I'm super in for it.
Done. I'll cut you in.
Now,
A little
Stugotz,
bonus, too.
80-20 is right.
Yep. I mean, she would take 20, I think, right?
There's no money.
$20?
No, 20%.
There's no money, Stugotz. Didn't
what are you
just
talking about?
hear-
Everyone's making money on TikTok.
You're giving me money for my labor on TikTok.
You're making the same deal you did with Billy on Sports Bank.
Oh, no.
You make him work and do everything and makes no money. He doesn't get paid. It's the same deal. It's just 20 years later.
It's my kind of deal.
Call my people, Stugotz.
modern version.
So what do you need? Username?
We'll work on it after the show. Need a little login credentials and need your image and likeness.
Okay. I want it. I got to see if I have
I
the
would
app.
love for Jessica to just steal a doddering Stugotz's identity. Just bilk him like so we can do a Tinder swindler or bad vegan documentary on you because you've stolen his identity.
Have you watched Bad Vegan yet? I'm hearing mixed things about whether or not I should watch it.
Oh, it's uncomfortable. It just shows you how mental abuse can be super invasive. It's just how a man got into a woman's life and she still can't explain how he manipulated and controlled her in a way that made her, spend. She was ahead of veganism in New York, popular, celebrities running through her restaurant. She was way ahead of a trend that a lot of people have capitalized on since. And it is the deeply, deeply uncomfortable look into how you hear the audio recordings of how someone gets controlled and is sitting in front of a camera and can't still explain to you how not only she got ruined financially and has crimes against her, but her mother also got bilked, like how the manipulation works. It feels like the room is closing in on you where you're like, how can you be controlled by someone who is this bad at manipulation? Because it doesn't even seem like good or subtle or clever manipulation. You're legitimately confused at how this woman got this buried by this relationship.
Is it just me or is fraud having a moment now?
Oh, Fraud is having a huge moment. I mean,
Finally.
Tony's Matty Ice was pretty Matty nice.
I keep ripping Golic
Why did you do that?
just to piss me off.
Not you.
Thank you.
Are we recording? What the?
Damn right.
Stugotz, what is
Every
it?
time.
Stugotz, you
Unbelievable.
want to tell everybody how mean. I don't understand. What did you say to Golic? You came in here today and you want to part. I don't know if you're jealous of the Golic and Smetty podcast or you want to teach everyone that you're controlling Golic. I don't know what's happening.
I'm nothing.
well, but
Nothing.
you're
I'm
obsessed.
outraged. Billy's
He's jealous.
appalled, okay? I am not jealous. I am super happy for Golic and Smetty, okay? Brand new podcast with DraftKings. They're going to have Matt Ryan on today, Matty Ice. Very excited for her. Who was on the first episode? It was Mina Kimes, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a good podcast, I've been told. I will get around to listening to it at some
Jessica,
point.
is he happy for
Time
you?
out.
What?
You don't think I'm happy for Jess? Of course I'm happy for Jess. I mean, there's
now,
plenty
this
of
is the
Golic
spot
to go
you're-
around.
This is the stuff you're going to get defensive about.
There's
that
plenty
you-
of Golic to go around. What I'm mad at is Mike Golic Sr. I am appalled, okay? I am hurt. I'm wounded, okay? I have been asking him to get guests for us when he comes on Stupidity or God Bless Football. Hey, get me a guest. Get this guy. Who's doing the guest booking for us? Me. But now he starts a show with Smetty, and all of a sudden, I've been asking him to get Matt Ryan on for nearly a year, okay? He's 2 shows in with Smetty, and who's coming on today? Matt Ryan. And that is not Smetty's fault. It is not her baggage. It's Mike Golic's, and I am super upset with him. And I will take it up with him at a later date, okay?
You were also saying
Enough of
you
him.
were concealing your anger by saying he better get me Goodell, to which Jessica responded, "Really? You want to do the hard-hitting Goodell interview?"
No.
Stugotz is gonna play good Dell or bad Dell.
Bingo.
You're not going to ask him about anything
Nope.
going on with the Washington Commanders.
That is not what Stupidity is all about, okay?
That definitely did not deserve the laugh.
Goodell, Bagel.
You are
What?
what?
What happened? I don't know
Play
what
a game
happened.
of French bread with
I don't
him?
even know what happened.
You
I was
just
trying to work out something better.
pronounced like a bagel in. What, you don't know.
Listen, you're getting away from the original point. Mike Golic Sr., okay? That's the original point.
Great co-host.
I mean, the nerve of this man, okay?
How and why is he getting for Smetty, Matty Ice, Matty Nice, that she's coming in here? She really kind of threw it in your face, if I'm being honest. She came in here
Yeah, she did.
because she
No,
just
I
talked
didn't.
to Matt
Stugotz
Ryan.
brought it up.
I'm also not having that Stugotz has ever asked anyone to have Matt Ryan on. I feel like this is a guest of the
No.
moment, but not a guest that he would have ever actually wanted.
Stugotz
I
wants-
actually want Matt Ryan's wife on. That's how they got Matt Ryan on, and I want to count it with Matt Ryan's wife.
No,
Oh,
you're
that's a nice
absolutely right.
pivot.
Mike's wife is friends with Matt Ryan's wife. Back to the Mike and Mike days, and she
Yes.
DM'd Matt Ryan's wife on Monday and was like, "Hey, my husband has a new show, Golic and Smetty. Does Matt want to come on?" And Matt said yes, and so we got him. So if Abby wants to start guest booking for
There you go.
that's the in. She's welcome to do that. But Chris Golic did it for us, and that's why.
Stugotz,
we have an edge.
what he's really upset about is what Matt Ryan represents. It's not Matt Ryan. It's that Golic and Golic's family use their power. Golic evidently doesn't keep phone numbers himself. That is
No,
Wait.
his wife.
It's annoying.
His wife keeps the phone
He's a
numbers.
doofus. I
The
mean.
important phone numbers are something that his wife has, and Stugotz has been trying to make his way through the family to the son and the father and the guests from every angle, and it turns out it's Mike's wife, Chris, right, that has all of the numbers.
Now, this is an outrage, Dan, because they have another podcast called Sorry in Advance. It's the Golic Family Podcast. And who was the guest on it yesterday? Me. And what did Mike tell me after I gave him 30 minutes of my time? Hey, I got Matt Ryan on with Golic and Smetty. Get the hell out of here. And say hi to Art Briles for me and get the hell. Enough of the Golics. I mean, who brought them into this equation?
Billy, what are the latest? You've come back into the studio. You look like your face is on fire and a tire has run over your face. You have a notepad with yellow writing. You've been watching First Take and listening to First Take. What can you update us on, as right now at this minute they are yelling at the New York City mayor and the pro sports teams must wait for eased COVID-19 rules?
Well, before they headed to break, they started talking about Elvis for the second time in the show today and whether or not Elvis was an immortal. And then Mad Dog calls Stephen A. Stevie. I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
Really?
Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
so
Wow.
Molly asked Mad Dog, is Stevie an immortal? And he said, Stevie is
an all-time great right now, but not an immortal yet. Let's see 3 decades from now, to which Stevie said, I don't want to be an immortal. I'm not trying to be an immortal. So he said, we'll check in with you in 3 decades, see if you're still doing it. Then they came back from break, and they started talking about the Yankees and whether or not some players are vaccinated or not, if they're going to be able to play or not. And then Mad Dog said, no disrespect to the Nets. The Nets are not the Yankees. The Yankees are the Cowboys. And that set Stephen A. off. And Stephen A. was yelling and said, quote, don't you ever come on this show and mention the Dallas Cowboys in the same breath as the New York Yankees. He was not happy. And then Mad Dog started doing his Mad Dog thing and started talking about Ruth and Garrick and DiMaggio. And then he said, this is the home office of baseball when talking about the Yankees and Yankee Stadium. And then Stephen A.'s background changed. Because that's not where his background was before.
You're so right.
I love any segment
Molly caught it,
from First Take that has a "don't you ever" in it.
I love that it's a conversation about like vaccine regulations, but the argument becomes about comparing the Yankees to the Cowboys. That's good
and
sports
Elvis
talk.
and Elvis.
Play the hits.
Great pivot.
With "Don't You Ever," "Don't You Ever" is actually another good name for a podcast.
Stephen A. did say the mayor of New York looks like a fool.
"Don't You Ever" is also a good name for a Bruce Willis movie.
These are why are you giving these away for free? These are sensational
I'm writing them
ideas.
down. Don't you ever?
I mean, what else do you have from the
The
Bruce
cider.
Willis file? And I do want to get back to what you said, that fraud is indeed having a moment.
Don't you ever with Mike Golic. I mean, that guy, he's got enough podcasts. My goodness.
Stugotz, all right, remember, gut reactions here. Gut
Yes,
reactions.
got it.
Cosmic Sin.
No.
Breach.
Yes.
Prepare yourself for this one. Hard Kill.
Yes.
He plays Donovan Chalmers in Hard Kill.
You had me at kill.
Survive the
You
Night.
had me hard at kill.
I didn't want to tell anyone. Baby.
Survive the Night.
Yes.
He plays a character named Frank Clark.
Had me at Survive.
Trauma Center.
Yes. A center of trauma?
So good. I feel like the script that Bruce Willis gets is just the title. And he's like, you know what? Let's go.
I'm in.
We'll figure this out on set.
Honey, fire up the tank. I'm going back out. 70-year-old action star.
I
going to get
know
a
when to
check.
shout. Everybody down.
Are you
I don't need a script.
Are you guys ready for this one? This one might be my favorite. 10 Minutes Gone.
Yes.
Wow.
Stugotz on a heater break.
Description of the segment.
That's what I have too.
Amin, I got to get the next 3 minutes to make it a 10-minute segment. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have ended it there. But I do want to get back to what you said. Fraud's having a moment. So's murder. Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at LeBatard Show. Who's having more of a moment, fraud or murder?
It's a big year for murder.
Murder's Minute is done, Dan.
No,
We're moving on to
really?
white collar crimes now.
Yep. Yep. Like, because you think about, like, where My Favorite Murder and all that stuff, like, Netflix was really big on that. They're kind of cold on it now. Now we're going to
Murderville.
fraud. It's all about, Murderville's a great show.
Cold case.
It's all about fraud right now. It's all about people who appear to be really wealthy.
What did you just do, Stugotz?
Little network TV.
Cold case.
Yeah, he
Good
said
show.
that murder's gone cold. It's a cold case. Yeah.
Good shout.
It's a CBS show from like 2007.
Stugotz is now morphed into Stan Van Gundy just watching the
love it.
CBS
Tiffany
network
Network.
shows.
They're so good.
Guys, I'm sorry. I know we moved off of this, but I have
Reliable.
to. I do have to say this. The synopsis for 10 Minutes Gone. Unable to remember what happened during a bank heist which led to his brother's death, Frank goes on the run to find someone who knows what went down.
Oh, boy.
Frank Clark. Frank is such a bad name for the person.
Who cares? He's on the run, Dan.
Sounds like a tight end.
It sounds like a defensive end for the Chiefs, but Frank is no good there. I mean, Frank,
The name doesn't matter as long as you're running, Dan.
put it on the poll at LeBatard Show, Guillermo. Can your action star be named Frank?
I've been stuck on Donovan Chalmers.
And speaking of Franks, Frank Reich is the only guy Golic ever got for me on God Bless Football. I mean, Jesus.
I'm fascinated in like the selection of last names for action stars because
Chalmers?
right, like when do last names ever come up in action movies? It's just like first off, names barely come up in action movies.
If you become iconic, it's usually first and last name.
Zach
correct?
Riggs.
If you become
John
somebody,
Murtaugh.
Yeah, only the Hall
Cobra.
of all of the whole of Cobra.
It's not his last name.
Cabretti.
I feel like the Hall of Famers, you know their last name.
Yeah, I guess you do know John McClane.
Yes.
But do you know
McClane.
Do you know the name of Liam Neeson's character in Taken? Because I don't.
I don't.
Feel like, why do I know?
He's Liam Neeson in Taken for me.
Yeah.
in everything, even when it's him taken on a train or taken in the wilderness or taken
Honesty.
taken in my 70s to the retirement home.
Who has one name status though? I mean, Riggs
and
right?
Murtaugh.
Yeah.
Riggs
Well,
and
but
Murtaugh.
those are last names though.
By the way, Donovan Chalmers, his synopsis for that movie, Hard Kill. Mercenaries race against the clock to stop a madman from using a computer program to wreak havoc around the globe.
So Batman, Dark Knight Rises.
Rio.
Around the globe, we're taking back the city. Gotham is our first stop. Next
Liam
to the
Neeson's
world.
name in Taken is Brian.
Isn't it?
Ryan,
Come on.
See, that's what,
I mean, that sounds like Live Free or Die Hard. That's what that sounds like.
Witty, that's what I don't like when we have a name that could never be, right? Like when Arnold Schwarzenegger's name in Kindergarten Cop is Detective John Kimball. Like, come on, bro. You ain't no goddamn John Kimball.
The script was obviously written for somebody else, but you got the audition.
His name's Brian Mills. Sounds like someone you signed to a 10-day contract.
Yeah.
John
Great
Kimball
shout.
should be Frank Clark.
Yeah, Frank Clark should be
John.
Smart people are saying Brian Mills is a good quarterback.
Yeah, those people are smart. Yeah.
Coming out of Oregon State.
I wanted to talk about fraud having a moment. There's been a lot of Stugotz.
I'm smiling. I'm all ears.
I feel like you're still pissed at me.
I mean, he just
Yes.
offered me Mitchell Trubisky.
I want Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh,
I'm
no,
going
no,
with
he's
Smitty.
mine.
No,
You
I
wanna
already
trade?
told Mike. I
You want to
texted
trade?
Mike.
Listen, I will put my voice. We'll edit my voice into your Matt Ryan interview, and you can have Mitch Trubisky. He's all yours. Okay?
No deal.
I love that idea. Of course, the editing of which you're not going to be doing.
Of course.
You
I don't
hand it
know how
off to
do
Billy.
that.
Billy's going to have to spend an hour and 30 minutes putting your voice in an interview with Matty Ice.
Are we still splicing? I mean,
Are we still
I mean,
recording?
splicing.
real to real.
Oh, yeah, with tape and
Old
then
school
you
editing,
tape.
yes.
Oh, man. I've
Yes.
heard about this.
The worst.
It seems awful.
The
How
worst.
did radio ever get produced?
I don't know. And I don't know how I did it because my fingers are so fat.
My thoughts on white collar crime having a moment.
Uh-huh.
Everyone saw Firefest come out and what a big scam, and how like 2 Firefest documentaries came out in the
Yeah.
span of like a month a couple years ago. And I think everyone realized, we're kind of tired of the whole murder thing. It's a little gory and gross. There's a lot of problematic shit when you're telling all these true crime stories. Let's tell true crime stories, but white collar crime, where the villain is someone that like we don't feel bad about, and also it's kind of like more family friendly. There's usually not blood and guts involved.
Well, the crazy thing about fraud versus murder docs, right? Murder docs, you feel terribly for the victims. You feel terribly for, their families. The fraud docs, yeah, we hate the villain, but we kind of like to hate on the victim too. Like, you dumbass.
Right?
You
How
fell
could you be so
Oh,
stupid?
the Lula Rose. I don't know if you guys saw the Lula Rose documentary on Amazon Prime that came out this summer. I mean, I felt so bad for the victims, and at the same time, I'm watching and I'm like, I don't know how they didn't see this coming. Like, this is so horrible. These people are getting preyed on by this, MLM, multi-level marketing scheme. And it seems so obvious that, like, okay, you have to buy $20,000 of a product in order to make money, and you're paying all this money up front. Like, it just sounds like such a scam. How do they fall for this? I feel so bad for them.
Really quick, have you ever fallen for an MLM?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
No, I mean, just not like one of those huge $20,000 ones. I'm just saying like one of those like pyramid scheme things. Ever? Never?
No, never. I mean, I think by the time that I was like old enough to have my own income, they had a lot of the popular ones had already been revealed. But I could easily see how I would have fallen for it if I like didn't know better when I
It
was
sounds
younger.
like we're setting up to an Amin story of the time he fell for an MLM scheme.
Man, it was the
Stugotz,
worst.
how many did you perpetrate?
Many, including the one Amin fell for.
Phone cards.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Jessica, once upon a time, long distance calls were like not something that you could just pick up your phone and do.
What is long distance? Like state to state?
Like out,
Country
yeah,
to country?
basically
Out of state,
out of
yeah.
your local area code, right?
Oh,
Like
okay.
here, you can you're 305, you can call a 954, no problem. But once you start calling like let's say Gainesville, or Atlanta or whatever, that's a long distance
start paying.
call. You start paying. Yeah. So you had to go to the store and you would buy phone cards, and they would be like $5 or $10, and it'd have like 60 minutes on it of long distance call. And so this was really big in college. People all had to have phone cards to call back home. Well, I was buying a lot of phone cards to call home, and a guy is like, "Hey man, I see you buying phone cards. Like, you should be selling phone cards." And I said, "Huh?" And he's like, "Yeah." And and he like walked me through it, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a good idea." So then I went to the seminar, and you pay $150, and they give you a stack of phone cards. And say, all you got to do is sell them. And then what you do is then you recruit people to sell them, and then you get the money. And I'm like, this makes perfect sense. And so I got $150 worth of phone cards, and I went to my roommate, and I said, "Hey, man, I know you call home a lot. You want some phone cards?" And he says, "How much?" And I was like, "Well," and I give him the price, and it turns out it's more expensive than the phone cards I was buying to begin with. And he's like, "Why would I do that? I can just go to a store." I was like, "Yeah, but you could be your own business."
This was literally the opening scene of an episode of The Office that was on TV yesterday, where Michael Scott was trying to get everyone in the office to buy calling cards with a Puerto Rican flag on it. And they're like, "This is a pyramid scheme." And he's like, no, it's not. And then they drew on the whiteboard how it's 1 and then 2 and then drew a pyramid around it. And then he was like, "Oh, you fell for a Michael Scott
I sure did.
pyramid scheme."
I was proud of that one.